Perfect. Let's get going here. Thanks for joining us and welcome to this Rainmaker Session, the art of the call, where we will be covering how to be more natural with your scripting and phone conversations. On that registration that we had you fill out to attend here, I thank you everyone for attending. You know, we asked the question, what do you want to improve most about your scripting and phone conversations? And we got everything, a majority of, I want to feel more natural in my conversations, obviously everything to, I suck at scripting and phone calls, which is perfectly fine. I hope that person's on the call. Obviously not going to call them out, but that's what we're here for, no matter what your skill level, to get you more natural, working towards setting more appointments, etc. My name is Kevin Comisky, manager of the Making It Rain program, and I have two experts here, our Rainmakers, on the topic of keeping conversations natural and moving towards that goal of setting appointments. They're just fantastic. They're both coaches at certain levels and just absolutely Rainmakers, like I said, and experts on this stuff. So it's going to be a fantastic 30 to 40 minutes here with myself, Skyleigh, and Joel. I'll let you two introduce yourself here. Skyleigh, you want to go ahead first and introduce yourself?
Did we lose her?
Did we lose her? Go ahead, Joel.
All right, I'll hit the ground running. Well, I did notice a little typo on our presentation. I'm not from Georgia. I'm from good old Buffalo, New York. I have been doing this game we call real estate for 18 years now. I ran a brokerage. We were, one of the top brokerages here in Western New York for 10 of them. And I'm rounding my second year with EXP, and I finally found my forever home. So I'm really happy to be a part of the Making It Rain committee, everything that we're building here, and really happy to help some agents really take their business to the next level.
Perfect. Skyleigh,
you did lose me for 2 seconds just because I have a kid who is, I'm sure you guys can all relate, who is, of course, popping up the minute that we're going on to this call. So I'm assuming that you were asking for an intro based off of what Joel had.
Yeah, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, no, 18 years. Joel, I actually didn't know that about you, but I think I'm going on my 10th year in real estate, which is exciting. No, I'm not 12, for anybody who was curious. And yeah, I've been with EXP, I think almost 6 years now, but I did have a stint away, and it was a mistake. I will not do that again. But yeah, I love Make It Rain. I love everything that EXP has to offer, and I do coaching for high performance agents, and based out of like the Okanagan area in British Columbia. So
perfect. I fixed your location there real quick, Joel.
Cool.
But before we get it, we're going to get right into it. Let me continue to let people in here. We're going to get right into the good stuff real quick. Just a little housekeeping first. At the end of this, there might be just maybe definitely a promo code for Making It Rain as a program. We're not going to get into what Making It Rain is here. We're going high level scripting, obviously, as we segued here. But we do want to provide you a promo here at the end for a discount on Making It Rain. If you want to sign up for that lead generation, stick around till the end. Also, make sure, whenever you're doing anything with leads and with Making It Rain, we work closely with our legal, Making It Rain's an EXP program, obviously EXP legal, and everything going on with the FCC and TCPA. Yes, the can's gotten kicked down the road there a little bit till next year, but always utilize everything that you're doing with lead generation and working leads and working your sphere and your database. Make sure you use that great tool kit for lead protection, exptoolkit.com/lead protection for FAQs, video explanations, templates for language, best practices, all that great stuff on that fantastic toolkit. Again, exptoolkit.com. I'll share the link here in the chat box momentarily. And make sure you're utilizing that for everything. Just fantastic tool. With Making It Rain, if you're new to Making It Rain as a whole, just to give you an understanding here, Making It Rain is EXP lead generation for EXP agents exclusively, where we are running PPC ads for lead generation for a monthly membership fee. That's Making It Rain as a whole, just a quick high level. With these Rainmaker sessions, these are coaching sessions on specific topics, 30-minute coaching workshops with these Rainmaker sessions. That's what we're here today to do. At the end of this, I'll share these slides as well as some of our resources like our script book and injection handler, but I'm going to get right into Skyleigh and Joel here and what they have to offer as far as scripts, but you'll be getting these types of resources at the end. Now, these are pre-built scripts and script books and things that we've developed over the last few years. What we take here today, we're also going to be adding on to these and updating them a little bit more live with some of these great insights from Skyleigh and Joel. Oh, we'll wait till the end for the promo there. Got ahead of myself. But with that, we'll let one more person in here. Still people trickling in. Love it. I'm just going to hand it right over to Skyleigh and Joel here with my first question and keeping it real high level, and we'll dive into specifics. But guys, what scripts are you using these days?
Ladies first, you want to hit the ground?
I mean, I think that the biggest script that I use is always falling just back to feel, felt, found. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of feel, felt, found, but like no matter what it is that you guys are dealing with, I feel like you can handle with feel, felt, found. So like whatever the objection is, I remember going in and I wrote down anything and anything that somebody could say to me that was going to be kind of a hang up for any form of conversation. I would use feel, felt, found. So I know that's not like a specific script that we're talking about that I use. However, I feel like it is a really great thing to have in your tool belt to pull out, because pretty much every conversation, there's going to be a hang up for a reason why things are not moving forward with your clients. And so feel, felt, found. Yeah, just practicing that and making that your fallback for anytime you're having a conversation with somebody really moves the needle forward. So again, that's not like a specific script, because I do feel like there are literally scripts for everything. However, that is the common denominator that I usually lean on throughout every single one of the scripts that I have. Either that or AERC. So I don't know if you guys have heard that one either, but that's acknowledge, explore, recommend, and then check for satisfaction. So
yep.
I hope that that kind of answers what you're asking, because I feel like it is a very well-rounded thing that's universal for all of the scripts. So,
well, I mean, to build onto that, I mean, yes, I use the same. I mean, LP Mama is what they teach us at KV Core, you know, location, price, motivation. But the biggest thing that I can say, I mean, like, I love cold calling. I came from door-to-door life insurance sales. So I was literally, I felt like the mob. Like, you have to pay me money and I'll take care of you, you know, after you end. But coming into real estate, like the biggest thing that I've ever found is energy. Like it is the key to anything. Like if you were to get on a call, if you pick up the phone on the other side of the line, hi, is this Skyleigh? You can be like, click, not happening, but hey, Skyleigh, it's Joel over at EXP. You know, the reason I'm calling you is I want to go over some safe search functions for you. Like it's just putting energy into any of your scripts. And then, you know, similar to the CRM world, the best script is the one that you practice and the one that you use. Like the title of this is high conversion scripts that feel natural. The only way it's going to feel natural is if you literally are practicing. I mean, tell your kids, play along. Let's do this. Pick somebody in the world. Go talk to somebody in your office. Like whatever it is, practice on each other, not on your clients. Like that for me is like the most important thing. Skyleigh and I, we do scripts and literally like we've said it 1,000 times. So it's natural because A, it's always written in front of me, but B, like it's there as a reminder to keep me on track because we don't want to take people's time.
Speaking of that, and I'm going to take a different question here because you just showed your script on paper there. what's your trick, even though you have it on paper there in front of you, to still stay natural, even though, you know, it's right in front of you on paper, and some people can tend to be robotic and read right from that? What are any of your tricks? I can imagine internalizing it and just the repetition, but any tricks for making something written on paper feel natural in the moment on the call?
Yeah, I actually have a few things that I can add to that, because I have young kids, and like studying comes into play with that. And it was not something that I ever really thought about when you're like practicing your scripting, that it's actually very relatable to actually being in school. And even when we were studying for our exams for getting into real estate, right? Like, you have to put it into your muscle memory. So I don't know if it's necessarily like a trick from like not reading it off the script. However, you have to study it. Like, you have to practice, you have to put it into your muscle memory. So there's a handful of things that I remember doing when I was going to university, because I went to university for psychology before I got into real estate. And just the studying aspect of that is one of the things that I usually tell our students as well for when they're practicing the scripts, is that like some people are visual learners, some people are like auditory learners, some people need to like write them down. So you need to go through the scripts and you need to say it out loud. And then you need to write down the Cliff Note version of it, because even if you don't have it verbatim word for word, there's going to be parts of the script that resonate with you that you can pull from. So if you have the Cliff Note version, then you can glance at it really quick and be like, oh, that's my cue to say this part. But it's all very systematic when it comes to scripts, right? Like, you usually go through the scripts in a very systematic way, right? Like, usually you have an intro, and then there's an explore phase. And then once you've explored enough, there's a recommendation phase. So just even having the Cliff Note version beside you so that you can pull from that is helpful. But if you're practicing and you're role playing with someone, it's going to be put into your muscle memory, so that when somebody picks up the phone and calls you, or you run into somebody in the grocery store and they're like, hey, how's the market? Like, you've said it so many times that you just can grab from it, right? Like, it's in your muscle memory, but you have to practice. Like, there's not a secret sauce. It's the same thing as studying for university. You have to practice. Like,
Yeah, I did see we had a question. I think he walked away from his computer, so we'll give him about 2 seconds, but going once, going twice. All right, anyway, building on, again, like what Skyleigh was saying, I have managed hundreds of agents. I ran my own brokerage for a decade, and the most common resistance has been, I don't want to sound like a robot. And the thing that I've found is the agents that don't have a script also are the ones that aren't the top producers. And they're also the ones that aren't logging their calls. And they keep finding a reason why not to have a script. And they hate cold calling. And it's not cold calling that you hate. It's that you spend 45 minutes to an hour on the phone with somebody just to find out that they can't even get pre-approved. Where having a script, any script, the best script that you have is the one that you use. Google it, ChatGPT it, use the one we have, we'll send the one that we have. Doesn't matter what it is, but I know that this lead conversion script, start to finish, soup to nuts, I can have it done in 7 minutes. And it just, you go in, the people are heard, they're told what you're doing, we're explaining it to them, we're confirming what they have, and we go to an appointment. Get the exploratory tour out there, get in the field with people, make sure they're ready to go. But like, how to not sound robotic is, it's all tonality. And one other thing that we do in our coaching is you tell people, and Skyleigh, I'm going to forget what the acronym is, the constant never-ending improvements. Like we say, like, you know, what are 3 things you did great? And what are 3 things that you can improve on? Or
did
one
well in the next time.
Yeah. But again, I mean, like it's pick a buddy. I mean, let's pair up people in this room and hold people accountable to say, look, let's spend 30 minutes a day for the next 10 days. And you'll be amazed. I love making phone calls. Like maybe I'm weird in that regard, but it's like a lotto ticket could be on the other end of a call.
I think that the mindset around it is really important though, Joel, because there's so many people that like they poison their own minds and like you convince yourself that it's not a good place to be. And then it is, the phone gets heavier and heavier and heavier, where like if you have the mindset that you just said, that you're like, I'm going to make 10 good connections today and they're going to be amazing, the phone gets lighter, right? And there's also a shift in mindset around how much money you make every time someone says no.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because you do have the mindset of like, I love this. And I think that's the difference.
It's a lot easier than selling life insurance, I'll tell you that.
I used to sell life insurance too. Actually, I didn't know that about you either, but yeah, you're right. Talking money is a lot different than talking houses.
Yeah.
Nice. Speaking of high conversion,
all day. We need some more questions.
yeah, like I think the next best place to go is the actual scripting itself. Now, with Making It Rain right now, our core offerings are buyer lead related, but we've got much coming out in the next few weeks to months with seller leads. But we'll start with buyer leads here. Skyleigh, Joel, like what's the first thing you say? Speaking of conversion, we all know you've got seconds to convert really on a phone conversation. What's the first thing you are saying when you're calling and talking to a buyer lead? And then we'll do the same thing for seller lead.
I don't know who wants to go first. Joel, do you want me to go or do
I'll let you hit the intro because we're going to say the same thing.
Probably. So very first thing, I always you get their name. This is a huge mistake that I've seen so many people make, and it's like call and they're like, hey, is this Kevin? Mm-hmm. Don't say, hey, is this Kevin? Just be like, hey, Kevin, this is Skyleigh from EXP. I noticed that you signed up to our website. I just wanted to give you a quick call to save you some time and energy. So tell me, what is it about your current home that's not working for you that has you exploring other options? Quick. It has to be fast because otherwise they're going to want to hang up and assume that the person who's answering is the person that put their name on it. Like, don't ask. And then don't say, how are you? Because even though that's the polite and nice thing that you want to do, the likelihood is that they're going to have an objection right there. Like you gave them an opening.
Yep.
To objection, like give you an objection that you're going to have to overcome. So like the fastest thing you can do is just say, hey, this person, this is why I'm calling. I want to save you time. Move forward. Because the goal of the first call is to get them into your database anyway. So that's my quick, but Joel, I mean, I know yours is similar. So if there was any tweaks that you would do, what would that be?
I mean, just even building into it. So my agents say we have bad leads. That's the most common thing I always hear. Oh, these leads are bad. Well, there's a website. Everybody get out your pens. TruePeopleSearch.com. TruePeopleSearch.com. You can type in any phone number and it'll tell you everything about the person. My Donald Duck leads are my favorite leads in the world. They're giving the right phone number and they're scared. So another, one of the, it's all psychology with me. So when I hear no, I actually spell that K-N-O-W. I don't know enough about you. So are you looking for a house? No. All right, so if you were looking for a house, what would it look like? I see that you're on my website looking in Buffalo. Is that the only area you'd be looking in? Like, I don't care that you told me no, but so many agents like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you. So yeah, I mean, Kevin, all right, so now that you have that there, click phone number search. Right in the middle, right under, yep. You can type in any phone number and it'll tell you literally everything about them. It'll tell you their home address, their email address, their cousin's name, their aunt's name, their brother's name. It is the greatest free search out there, period.
That's amazing.
I love it. And I run all of them through it. Like whenever I get, this is a little different than what I'm used to seeing, but go on that website.
I switched it.
Oh, okay.
I switched to Spokio. Spokio is one I've always used as well here, but let me go back. And this could easily be my computer, or it's just still searching. But
again, the exact same thing. The best tool is the one that's used. So, like, one other statistic that I've heard, and it's probably outdated now, and I've been saying the same number for 5 years, so it's different. The National Association of Realtors says that it takes 8 attempts to make initial contact with a client. So all my agents would say, oh, these are bad leads, the people never answer. Well, if you call every single day at 10 o'clock in the morning and they work overnights, they're never going to answer. Try different times of the day. Pick a Tuesday, pick a Thursday, pick a Sunday. But National Association of Realtors says 8 times to make contact. The average agent calls 0.5. Every other lead gets 1 phone call, and we have to call every lead 8 times for contact.
A couple of things that I want to add to that, Joel, because I have had these exact conversations. Because there are people who answer. There's like gravy leads that you end up getting, and you make a phone call and they answer the first time, and they're really great conversations. But the funny thing with it is that people get this mindset that they're like, oh yeah, no, you only have to call the once, right? Like you're like, you only had like 0.5 of a reach out, and it worked. And they have this mindset because every once in a while, it's almost like intermittent, it's like winning the lottery. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very periodic and it happens. And then now all of a sudden you're like, I got to have it again. But the funny thing is that when that happens, it's usually because somebody before you made 3 calls and then the next person made 3 calls. So you still are catching them on the 8th call. It's just that you didn't do the initial 8. Do you know what I mean? So you're just kind of catching them halfway. And then the other thing too, I actually love that you change it to the KNOW. I usually change my no's to be not yet.
Okay.
And so then the follow-up question to that is like, okay, so I understand that you're not doing anything now or that you're just browsing, but let me ask you, if you were to do something in the future, what would that look like? Right? Because a lot of times people are just looking and they're just like thinking about their future and the fantasy of what's going to happen next. So yeah, I usually do say not yet. Because there are a number of agents, I believe, that do chase the A and B clients, but there's so many C and D. They're really great qualified leads. It's just that it's not happening right now. But I would rather have a slow trickle pipeline instead of this roller coaster of chasing the A, B clients today. I want to fill the pipeline with the C, D that I'm going to nurture through. And yeah, so the you don't know, the KNOW, or even the not yet mindset, I think is amazing as well. So.
Well, and then the other thing is these are internet generated leads. This is, somebody that clicking around on social media, they saw a house, they clicked the button a few times and it said sign up for my website. Think of the last time you bought a car. When you first started searching cars, did you go buy a car tomorrow? Another NAR standard is 18 months.
Yeah.
From the time they're on your website until the time they walk into a door. So having a good follow-up campaign, having a good consistency. I mean, I just got a deal under contract today that I met the people June of last year. And it took them a while to get pre-approved. It took them a while to dial in what they were looking for. It took them a while to win a stinking offer in this market. We lost 12 houses in a row bidding $50,000 over asking price before we finally got one. But but they were like, thank you so much for sticking with us through this. Like the grit is what it takes in this industry.
Like it.
great points there. Definitely want to move towards like setting appointments, but I don't want to continue to skip over on the question that we had. We have one hand raised. It looks like he still might have stepped away. Mobile Oil Miami, are you still there? Okay, let's get to the next. And this is in the scripted book. I just want to point that out. If there's 2 things out of what was just shared over the last 10-ish minutes, assume, well, you take one of those little nuggets, assume you've got the right person on the phone call. As you can see some of our sample call openings here, just write into hi and their name and just introduce yourself. Just get right into that. Don't lock yourself into objections right out of the gate, and utilize free resources. And some of them are small monthly paid subscription services like True People Search and Spokio. Just to go to that real quick before segueing into setting appointments, it did finally pop up. There was an issue with my computer, but this did segue into, looking up myself here and giving me information on
phone numbers. Keep going down. It'll do email addresses. It'll do everything. Kevin, we know who you are now, buddy.
All right, here. You got
it'll
all
tell
the
you your aunts, your moms, your cousins, everything.
Yes.
Our,
those numbers is.
I wonder if this works in Canada. Now I'm going to have to see if there's something like this for Canada, because, yeah.
User.com, see if it works. It might. I'm
going to try. Yeah, definitely going to try. You guys don't have, like, the privacy protection in Canada seems to be a lot more than in the States, because you guys have, like, it seems like you guys have a lot more access to information than we do. But anyways, I'm gonna hunt something.
Just to keep in mind as well, please, using any resource, make sure we're following those TCPA regulations and everything still on when it comes to all of that. It's a great resource, but we've got to be following those FCC regulations. Just keep
and we're not making cold calls. These are people that have registered, but they put their name in as Donald Duck. Or a lot of times when we're registering with Facebook, I just get their email address. And like, hi, is this, Mr. whatever at gmail.com? Like, that's not going to work. But if I were to answer the phone, I go, Kevin? Yeah. Hey, it's Joel over at EXP. I saw your stuff on my website. Now, Skyleigh, tell me if you have a difference of opinion on this. I always call people by their first name. I don't do Mr. Johnson. I actually want me to be a peer with them right out of the gate.
Yeah, I have never done the last name thing either, because I do feel like it ends up, I feel like it could potentially come off in a way of
they're superior.
No, it's not that. It's just more that it does make it sound like it's more of like a sales call than a relationship building conversation. And people get their backs up, right? Like, people want to buy. They just don't want to be sold. So when you call them and you say, hey, is this Mr. blah, 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 or Miss whichever, then I do feel like it kind of sets the tone, because I feel like TELUS does that to me. Right? Or like all these other internet providers and that stuff, or like the bank. And I'm like,
Mister's my father.
So funny. So yeah, I feel like we are in a relationship business, and I think that coming at it from a place of like that you are going to be building a relationship with them and caring about them, not just on a superficial level, is a better way to have the conversation. So if you start with like Mr. and Miss, and I don't know if it'll necessarily go the right direction, or that but each their own. I guess it depends on the demographic that you're probably marketing to. If somebody did that to my age demographic, I feel like the conversion rate would be less. So I think it depends on who you're marketing to, I guess, too.
Excellent.
I just saw a question come in. How do you hit a trust name? I skipped the name. Hi, it's Joel from EXP. Want to give you a call. I saw you stop on my website today, assuming it's a lead conversion. If you're trying to get like a building, hi, it's Joel from EXP. I just skipped the name thing. Once the rapport is built, I'll just jump back in and go, oh, and I'm sorry, I never wrote it down. What was your name again? Like, once we build a little rapport into it, even if I can't find the lead on True People Search, I don't care. Hey, it's Joel over at EXP Realty. Happy to help. Thanks for stopping by my site. What brought you here today?
I also will do the same thing, Joel, when it comes to people who have names that I am not sure how to pronounce them, because I think that would be a really big mistake as well, that you're making a phone call and then you say their name and it is completely butchered. And yeah, you're getting off on the wrong foot for sure. So I will do the same thing. I'll just be like, hey, this is Skyleigh from EXP, go into the script. And then once you have a little bit of conversation with them, I'm like, hey, you know what? I actually just realized that I forgot to confirm your name. And I want to be honest, like I didn't know how to pronounce it. And it's really important to me to pronounce it correctly. So can you share with me like how to pronounce it? And then write down it like phonetically, like what it sounds like so that you can say it correct the next time. I actually had a company call me the other day, and they're a new paint company in the city. And they're like, hey, they were wanting me to like refer them to my clients. And they said my name wrong so many times. And I'm like, and then he asked me my last name. And I'm like, didn't you call me? Like, didn't you Google, like what? Anyways, I was like, there's no way you're earning my business now. Because he didn't even care to ask me if he was pronouncing it right, or to even like look at the person you're calling. Do you know what I mean? Like
everybody calls me Joelle, and the hair stands up on the back of my neck. I don't care if there's a lotto ticket at the end of it. Sorry, dude, it's not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important. It's really important. So if you're not sure how to pronounce it, or even just like bring it up right off the bat, right? And be like, is it Joel? Well, like I just want to make sure it's right. Because again, it's important to me to make sure that it is right. When they act like they don't care that they could potentially be saying it wrong, it's not great. I feel like it's just better to put it out there that like, hey, I could be pronouncing this wrong. Please correct me. If
they've heard it before.
So
the little things that make a big difference. Yes. Now, when it comes to like setting appointments, I mean, the key, the goal of every conversation you have, I've always been a fan of like, as soon as you build a little bit of rapport and you get that sense that that person's generally qualified, you know, pivot and go to that face-to-face, going for that face-to-face appointment. How do you segue into that? What's your scripting for that? Definitely something I want to hit on here for both buyers, you know, how you would meet with buyers in different ways, and sellers obviously for a listing appointment. But let's start with sellers on that one, and going for the appointment with the seller after you've been chatting with them on the phone for a little bit, and you know they're generally qualified.
So I guess I'll hit the ground with this one. I always go assumptive. ABC, always be closing. So like from the second that the conversation starts, I'm assuming because I'm talking to them, I'm meeting with them. So choice close is the best close in my book. So, you know, just want to recap, make sure we're on the same page, go over whatever kind of stuff we're talking about. And then I always say, so, you know, if it's a listing, you know, the next best step is for me to stop out, get a good look at it. I mean, if I were to give you a number over the phone, I'm no better than any of these other computer-generated websites. So I'm looking at my calendar. I have some time on Tuesday or Wednesday. Which day works better for you? Neither answer were no. Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, I can't do Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay, so I can do Thursday at 2 and just keep on closing until we get a yes.
I'm on the same page for sure. You and I had like the same kind of transition for going from the conversation into actually booking the appointment. I do feel like this is a lot of where people kind of fall off is when they need to actually book the appointment. And then you can kind of get some objections around that as well. So there are a few key things that I do. But yeah, same as you, Joel. I say, so based off our conversation, the next logical step is but. So for people who are going to be selling, the next logical step would be to get the missing puzzle piece of the value of their home and do their evaluation, right? So I always give options for appointments because, again, you're not going to say, well, what does your schedule look like over the next week? Because then it gives them options to kind of get out of the appointment. So normally what I say, I'm like, what works best for you and your spouse, weekends or weekdays? And then they'll pick one or the other. And then I'm like, perfect. Okay, what works best then, mornings or evenings? And then again, they pick one or the other. And I'm like, perfect. Let's tentatively book blank day and time. And even if they say, well, I don't know if that works for my partner and blah, blah, like, and whatever. Because again, that is another common thing. They'll say, I'll call you back and I'll let you know. It's very slippery. Like they're literally like slipping through your hands like a bar of soap. So I always tentatively book, and I'm like, you know what? That's totally okay that you need to confirm with your spouse, because it is important for both of you to be there for the evaluation. So let's tentatively book it in, and I'll give you a call however many days before, just to make sure that we're still on track. Because the goal, and I feel like this is also one of the like golden ticket lines that I like to use, because again, people want to sell, they want to buy. They just don't want to be sold something. They don't want to feel like they're in a sales pipeline. So one of the things that I usually say that I feel like really moves things forward is that my job is to just give all of the missing puzzle pieces that they need so that they can make an educated decision for them and their family, right? Because it's not a linear process, buying and selling real estate. There's a lot of missing puzzle pieces, and my job is to give them all of the options and the puzzle pieces so that they can make that choice. So why wouldn't they say yes to the appointment, right? So those are the few things that I do to make sure that it's a very solidified. Tentatively book it, say the golden line, and then there's no reason that they really would cancel or anything else. So,
Yep.
Excellent. When it comes to buyers, where are you trying to meet with buyers? Is it that first home tour? I would always go for Starbucks, if not a home tour. I met a lot of people at Starbucks, and always worked great for going through a buyer presentation. You know, where were you trying to meet people, and also whether the buyer or seller, but most likely, you know, buyers in this case, if they are far away, you know, and virtual, what are you doing if someone's moving from out of the area, you can't meet them face to face?
You want me to go
Hear
first?
you.
Yeah. So I always do a consultation with my clients before I actually meet them. When I am going to start working with a buyer, though, to get them out from behind the computer to actually shopping for a home, I always tell them that I want to take them on what's called like an exploratory tour. And then that way they can get out, take a look at a couple homes, because it's a process of elimination, not a process of selection, right? And that's when it gets really confusing, is when you start looking at everything and then comparing everything. So I always like to go on exploratory tours and start being like, what was your favorite one out of the three? So then you can keep doing that. But before we get to the exploratory tour phase, which is the hook that I use in order to actually get them to say yes, I'm like, tentatively book the exploratory tour. Once they say yes to that, because who doesn't want to go look at houses? Come on, right? Like, that's the fun part. Then I say, perfect. Glad that that's all booked. Before we do that, a part of my process is that I like to have a Zoom consultation with all of the decision makers, so I can make sure we're on the right page and that we've selected the right houses for us to look at on whatever day and time that you guys selected for your exploratory tour. So if they're in person, I can go for coffee. That's no problem. If they aren't in the same city as me, I can do a Zoom consultation before they make their trip. That's no problem either. But I do make sure that I do a either Zoom or coffee appointment with them before I go see them in person. Because yeah, you want to make sure everyone's on the same page, right? Like if you have husband and wife, or even like kids, and like their parents are coming and their parents are a big decision maker, and you're not all on the same page, it's chaos. So
well, yeah, and then so one thing that we do a little bit different in the States, which one day will end up in Canada, is we have to get a buyer's agency signed. So we're allowed to send houses, but as soon as we schedule that tour, we have to have a contract signed with these people. So during the Zoom meeting, I always give the option. I love that we have an agreement with the Regis offices. I'm spoiled that we have 10 Regis offices here in Buffalo. So no matter what part of town they're in, we can actually go to a formal office. But during that meeting, like, you've told somebody to jump in their car and meet with you. You better give them something. So if I were to just say, hey, you're looking in Buffalo for a 2-bedroom with a pool, right? All right, cool. See ya. Not going to work. So one of the greatest things that we have is all of our buyers' presentations. And I've made my own custom one based off of that. and I go right into my buyer's presentation in person. And then part of the buyer's consultation, if I really feel like I got them, I'll have them sign up for, the 6-month buyer's agreement. But if I still kind of feel like, they want to date before they get married, we also have that single property form to say, you know what, let's just pick this one house. We're just going to agree to work together on this one house, and I will earn your business. People love to hire people too. So that's, and I always say, and I have to re-earn your business. I go on an interview every single day. I wake up every day unemployed. So, and I intertwine an entire buyer's presentation, explain to them the whole process. Now they're pre-approved. We know what they want. We know where they're looking. We know who the decision makers are, and they signed a contract. Then we go show some houses. But the same as Skyleigh, we hooked them with so based off our conversation, the next logical step is to do an exploratory tour. Don't worry, you're not buying anything, but I just want to get a feel for what you're looking for. Before we do that, I just got to go over a couple things with you.
And so often, as we know, buyers don't even know, even if they think they do, even know what they're looking for. And so you get them into a house and they're like, oh yeah, I really don't need that, or I do need this, etc. So super important, super important. No, this has been great. I think we should definitely do another session just on scripting alone in the near future. How about that, everybody? Continuously doing things on scripting, to be honest, but also where we kind of left off here and kind of ending it on that appointment. That probably gonna be one of our next Rainmaker sessions, as well as bringing that value to the appointment, etc. So we'll get all of those planned and on the calendar. But yeah, Skyleigh, that exploratory tours, especially that word exploratory, I think we're definitely going to steal here and continue to use and coach people to use. That's a great.
The other one is
a little
interchangeable would be educational. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
Yes.
I was like,
no.
Yeah, interchangeable would be educational. There's two that we kind of go between, but I don't know. I like it.
Split test. Yeah, that's bringing more value. Like, you're right, people do want to go see houses, but it's just one word that makes a huge difference in bringing that value of what you're about to do and make it worth their time to go do it, whether it's a tour or just the appointment itself. And then I would always schedule touring out the homes, especially if there was a vacant home or something where we could have a little bit more space. I would schedule a bit more time at a vacant home if there was one on the tour, and actually, sit down at the kitchen island or whatever and go through a little bit of the buyer presentation and value and have a little conversation there, and intentionally schedule a little bit more time at that house on my touring schedule to weave that in to the process. So want to be cautious of everyone's time. We're at that 45-minute mark. Want to keep it between half hour, 45 minutes with these. So this has been perfect. Like I said, we'll get another one scheduled here on this theme, as well as appointments and so much more. We're always doing these Rainmaker sessions. And any questions before we wrap up here? And I get you that promo code as promised. Feel free to throw anything into the chat. Brendan's got his hand raised. Brendan, go ahead, open up your mic. Or throw it in the chat box.
There you are. Can you hear me now?
We've got you.
Okay.
We hear you.
Got a question for us?
No, I don't have a question for you. I'm sorry. I was just going thumbs up. Great job. That's all.
Oh, thanks, Brendan.
Okay.
All right, we got another question from Sat.
Hi, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You got you.
Okay. Just one quick question. Do we have access to this slide or the script that we were going through?
Yes, let me share these slides right now. I'm going to stop sharing and I will grab, I hope everyone jotted down that promo code. That's for 25% off your invoices for this month and next. I will throw this into the chat box as well. But let me share the link to the slides. Well, the promo code is going to be in the link to the slides anyway. So
I'm connected with the phone, so I don't have a laptop. So email or something? Can I have access later?
Yes, if you drop your email in, I will email it to you. But for everyone else on the call, and you can still get to it on your cell phone in the comments section, but I just shared the slides, which is going to have everything we obviously went over, including the promo code at the end there.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, I mean, while we still have Workplace, I mean, look me up on Workplace. I'm sure Skyleigh has the same open invite. We're happy to help.
Perfect. Any other questions? Great insight. Yes, I hope everyone took at least one nugget with these things that are, half hour in these sessions, just like anything else. I want you to get one nugget, whether it's exploratory tour or don't ask them if they've got the right person on the beginning of the call. Take these things and implement them. Hopefully you got a few nuggets out of this. There's certainly, nuggets throughout this entire session. So just take a few of them and make sure you start implementing them. And we're, like I said and promised, we're going to continue to do more when it comes to scripting and some other great session topics that we can pivot off of great discussion points that came up in this, even if they're not directly related to scripting. So keep an eye out for our Rainmaker Sessions schedule. Skyleigh, Joel, thank you so much for joining me here today. Joel, I was going to pronounce your name that funky way, but I don't even remember what it is now.
Joel.
Really?
Don't put it in muscle memory.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Skyleigh. Thank you, Joel. If you have any questions, email me. If you have any suggestions for Rainmaker Sessions, email me as well. But make sure you keep an eye and keep that link for the slides. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Gotcha.